This is the end, beautiful friend. This is the end, my only friend, the end.
Although the weather is not cooperating right now, happy fall everybody, welcome back to the ball. Yes, it has been a long time, many a fortnight since the last episode. But as you saw in the beginning, yes, this is a subject of continuing on or not. As you can imagine, the life of the headbanger is always a busy one. But it's been particularly busy over the last several months, pretty much for the most part of this year. Just don't have a lot of extra time. We start shooting Little Headbanger's next film in about a month or so, and it'll be shot over the span of several months into next spring, and I have a starring role in the film, which is awesome. My latest band, my new band, well, not so new anymore, but a few months ago we finally found a drummer, so that's taken up a lot of time as well, besides normal day-to-day family and work life. So I just don't have the time that I'd like to do this show, as you probably noticed anyway, throughout the year with so little episodes. I mean, I could do a review probably every couple of weeks, but I've never wanted to be viewed as a horror critic or or a film reviewer. I never wanted to ask for screeners and then you're obligated to do a film review. I just don't enjoy that. There's a lot of people out there that do that often and do it much better than me, so I don't really feel like I need to do that. And again, I just don't enjoy it. When I recommend a film or not recommend a film, I purchased the film with my own hard-earned money. When I tell you guys to just fucking buy it, I just fucking bought it. So I put my money where my mouth is, and that's just the way I like to do things. And even the original idea of the show with episodes and season format and season premieres, season finales, the awards, all that stuff. Mixing things up with recommendations, collection updates, and then of course throwing some goofy skits in, which is the thing I really enjoy the most. It's a creative outlet for me that's it's more comical, therefore it's much different than my other creative outlets that are much more serious in tone, like my music and whatnot. So I really enjoy that aspect of it, and that's just an angle that I just don't have a lot of time for, to do the creative things that I like to do. And that is really a bummer for me, and really, to be honest, I was going to come on here this episode and tell you guys the plan was that Horror's Ball would be ending. That's the reason, just not having the time to do what I want to do. But I'm going to say right now, that's not going to be the case. Horror's Ball will continue on. Basically, long story short, I'll go with the little bit of Horror's Ball is better than no Horror's Ball. That's basically the way I'm going. Please, I hope you guys agree with that. I hope you guys will continue to watch when I do put an episode up. Give me some feedback, leave it in the comments. But yeah, it'll continue on the way it has been, with episodes here and there whenever I can get to them. Yeah, just leave some comments, give me some feedback. Yeah, it's just one of those things I wish I had more time. Then you guys know how it is. I'm going to continue on, and really, again, I was planning on telling you guys that this was it. I was beginning to work on kind of like a final episode and putting all that together, kind of go off on a good note, on a fun note, on a cool note with a nice final episode. And then something happened, it's probably a month ago, which completely changed my mind to at least continue on in some capacity with the show. That'll be the next episode. You'll see. I'll show you guys why I changed my mind, what kind of gave me a little push to stay with things and to keep going with Horror's Ball, even in a limited capacity. But anyway, that's enough. I'm sticking around. We have not been canceled yet, so hope you guys will continue to watch when I do post episodes. again, I'll have another new one showing you guys kind of my epiphany on the show. Maybe the show's just going through a mid-show crisis. I don't know, whatever. But that'll be coming up soon. Of course, October's right around the corner. I'll always make time to do an October show. So yeah, good times ahead. I'm sticking around. I hope you guys keep watching. And enough of this bullshit. Let's get to an update. All right. Alright, damn, it's good to be back. Seriously, this is awesome, and thank you for watching. Again, I hope you guys stick around to continue on with me in this journey of the Horrors Ball. Yeah, I got actually a really awesome stack of brand new horror films, 2015. Last episode was an update, which was several months ago, so I'm sorry if there is anything I repeat here from last episode. I apologize, as if anyone would notice. But pretty sure that all this is stuff that I've gotten since then, or I know a few things I may have watched like right after the last episode. But anyway, nice stack here, and then I also have a few other things I kind of picked out that I thought, excuse me, were noteworthy to show you guys. I've added to my 70s, the ever-growing 70s horror collection. Let's get to the brand new stuff real quick. Unless you follow me on Instagram, you may not know some of my opinions on some of the new films that have been coming out. Boy, has it been a great year, and I'll get to that probably later on next month, how strongly I feel about how good this year has been. Anyway, really quickly, of course, we got to do this. Man, it's been a while, but I want to give a big charge to a friend of mine, Turi. Thank you so much for, it's not really trade, I basically picked up some awesome beer for me, and I appreciate that, and I will probably do some trading in the future, I'm sure. This is a fantastic beer. I had it before, and I absolutely loved it. Sip of Sunshine by Lawson's Brewery. If you're into craft beer, you know Lawson's is top notch out of Vermont. They do not really ship, so it's difficult. You either have to go there and get this stuff, or have someone cool like me who's willing to hook you up. But this is a fantastic IPA, absolutely delicious. Not quite up there with Zombie Dust or Pliny the Elder, but definitely that next tier, maybe like a fresh Headhunter. Absolutely fantastic. Thanks again, Turi. I really appreciate it. Chars, everyone out there, hold up your cup. Go get yourself a beverage. Doesn't have to be beer, of course. If you like milk or orange juice or a nice cold glass of water. I know there's a lot of little headbangers out there too that, you know, I don't want you drinking. So go up. Let's do an update together. Hold your glass up. Cheers, everybody. My God, it's absolutely amazing. Anyway, all right. Look at this artwork. Look at that. When you just look at it, morbid, very low budget. Indie slasher film. I'm sorry, this will not stay in the collection, and it pains me, of course. I was obviously going to a film wanting to not just like it, but love it, especially when it has artwork like that. I'm sorry, guys. It's just a really poorly done film in all ways. Very amateurish. You know, I gotta say, there's definitely some heart in the film. You know, I'll give it that. And if anyone out there wants this, maybe it'll find a spot in your horror collection. Let me know. I'll send it to you. I'm sorry, but I just can't recommend it. But as always, you know, I bought this film. I'm happy that I did. I supported it in some way, I would hope. Like I hate putting down films. I really do. But you know, I'm always gonna be honest with you guys. It was a shit film. But I hope that Chuck Connery, I hope he makes another film. I really do. I never would want anyone to stop making films based on, you know, a horror film. But I would only expect that he'll get better on his next one, and I hope he keeps making films. And I will continue to support it, and I hope the next one's better. Bag, another low budget, really cool cover, slasher film. I always say there's not enough Halloween-based horror films, so anytime there is, I'm gonna grab it. And look at this horror pedigree that's involved here. Tony Todd, Michael Berryman, P.J. Souls, Tiffany Shepis. There's Debbie Rochon in it. The music was done by Harry Manfredini, who did some of the Friday the 13th score. So I mean, like, again, the pedigree is really strong. This really had some fertile ground to really be an awesome indie slasher film. Hate to report that I thought it was really bad. did not take advantage of the talent involved for sure. I mean, the killer was cool, and that's about all I'll say. Editing was really bad. There were some audio difficulties. It was not shot well. Here's what my theory is on this. Either director Kevin McDonald, he either had like a decent budget, a decent amount of money, and I think he maybe threw it all at getting this cast, or he like whatever like has some connections or knows some people that were able to help him get this cast. But anyway, it's not a good film. It really sucks. I mean, I really wanted to like this. Yeah, it's not good at all. Again, if someone out there wants that, let me know. I can send both of these films to you. Hopefully, they'll end up on your shelf. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I really wanted to like it. And again, I hope Kevin McDonald, if he makes another film, I hope he does. And hopefully, the next one will be better. But unfortunately, these two will not be staying in the collection. But now on to some good stuff. This indie short film, Tantrum, and I'm sorry I forget the director's name. I just had a brain fart. He did Dog Dick, which I never saw. This is a really cool limited edition, numbered. It's got like this fabric like glued to it. You get like some freebies inside, a poster and whatnot. Really experimental, avant-garde, which I usually always love. Some cool like paper mache masks in this film. I don't want to get into the plot or anything. It's surreal. Not the greatest. I mean, from a technical aspect, not well done at all. It's definitely, the strength was its visuals. The acting wasn't good. Some decent gore scenes. There was some good penis gore, which you guys know I always love. I recommend it though. I mean, support. Is it James Bell maybe? I apologize, but yeah, it says right here. I'm a dumbass. See, I'm rusty. It's been a few months. James Bell, Tantrum. I do recommend picking it up. I was hoping to be a little better, but it's still a cool check out. I love the paper mache masks in it. Death Escort Service, another low budget. This is from guys at the Sleaze Box. Their other films for me have been kind of hit or miss. I mean, I enjoyed the American Holocaust. It was cool. This one is actually a lot better in my mind. Great cover artwork, great score. I have a retro kind of 80s sleazy slasher in the vein of like Maniac, New York Ripper, and it takes place. Oh, I think it's supposed to take place in Las Vegas. But I'm pretty sure it was filmed in Florida. I could be wrong on that. But it's supposed to have that like kind of like obviously a bunch of hookers are getting killed and there's a killer on the loose. I gotta say, it is like this film actually basically ended up being exactly as I expected it to, and I mean that in a good way. It didn't exceed my expectations, but it met them. I expected some boobs, some gore, and that's what it is. It's boobs, kill, boobs, kill, boobs, kill, and it's really cool. Some really hot chicks, particularly the chick in the first segment. Man, she was hot. But yeah, really cool. Gore's a little inconsistent. I think they got Marcus Cook to at least do some of the gore, and I think you could tell what was Cook and what wasn't, because those scenes really stood out. There was a great breast cut, boob cut, which looked really awesome, and there's a cool baseball bat scene, that's all I'll say, towards the end of the film. So the gore is inconsistent, but of course all practical, which is great. And yeah, I highly recommend this one. Really cool. The score was awesome. Very synth, keyboard driven, which was cool. Almost an Italian feel to it. So yeah, happy to pick that one up. This one, Dark Was a Night, another good slipcover. I was really excited about this when I saw the trailer. Creature feature. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but this is possibly a spoiler. So if you plan on seeing this, you want to skip this a little bit. But I was really digging this film a lot, and then it got to the end of the reveal, and very sorry to report that it is a CGI reveal. And leading up to that, they show like the feet and legs of the monster, and it looked practical, so I was kind of like excited. And then when they revealed it, unfortunately, it was some pretty shitty looking CGI. I will say though, it was so strong up to that point that didn't ruin the film for me. So I will keep it. I definitely watch this again, show this to some people. But man, it could have really vaulted it to the next level if they would have used some real creature effects. But the two lead guys, really the whole cast in general, everyone's likable, which is so, of course, doesn't happen enough in horror. This lead guy is a cop, and he has this partner, and they're basically trying to figure out these killings of these animals. And he's dealing with problems with his wife. He's got a son, and yeah, I mean the character's really likable, really well acted, well written. It's just a shame that we didn't get that payoff with the awesome creature. Another one I really like, just put out by Shout Factory, The Harvest. Definitely psychological horror. This is actually the director of Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. This is his first film in 15 years, so I was excited about that because, of course, Henry is such an amazing classic. Not the most original idea or anything like that, original story, but I think the performances are fantastic, especially from this young boy and his friend. The mother here is fantastic. It's very weird. They're both very quirky, but has a cool vibe. There's a twist ending, which you could definitely see coming, but it was still well done. I don't know. I really enjoyed it from start to finish. Just a solid psychological horror film with great performances, and I dug the ending. So I would recommend that. Horrible cover art, though. Even the reversible stuff. Terry, can you just send me a package of this every month? I'll just pay you monthly, and you just send me some more of this. This stuff is fucking amazing, Charles. Yeah, this is awesome. It's a Saturday, guys. Awesome to be back. Did some recording last night with a side project, side musical project that I've been working on for a long time. I finally got back into it. That was cool. Got the weekend off. Gonna watch some more new films tonight, actually, which I'll get to here. And yeah, it's just good to be back, everybody. Things are going well. I hope you guys are all doing well. Back to the new stuff. What We Do in the Shadows is the Blu-ray, as you can see. Horror comedy. I think a lot of people would agree. I don't love horror comedies, but if they're good, they're good. And this is a really good one, if not great. It's actually from the guys who did Flight of the Conchords. There's a group of vampires living together and kind of just their day-to-day life. A nice parody. This was awesome. It really was. The characters are great. All these guys, and there's this like Nosferatu-looking old-school vampire. Just awesome. I mean, it's what a horror comedy should be, and just really well written, actually funny, and it still maintains that horror element as well. So highly recommend it. Awesome film. Whelp, aka Cub, awesome slasher. This is a Belgian film, I want to say. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure though. Definitely from the Netherlands. Look at that great cover art. I got this actually a while ago, probably like right after my last update. And I knew that Artsploitation Films, which I'm a big supporter of that label, they put out some really good stuff. I knew they were going to put it out, but I had seen like a stock photo of the cover art, and it looks so freaking bad. It was basically this, if you haven't seen it, it's close up of the kid's face. Anyway, it sucked. So I had to get this original cover art, so I picked up this German Blu-ray, which is cool. Nice slip, and then you get the, there you go. Anyway. That's what I'm like. I'm a collector, and I want to have good cover art if it's available. But yeah, really awesome slasher. This awesome kind of tree bark mask. I'll leave it at that. I know it was compared to like Lord of the Flies meets Stand By Me. I think that's a pretty cool like comparison. A lot of those ones never like make sense, but that's cool. Really cool slasher. Really like the ending a lot. I think they actually vaulted it up to the next level, and there's some pretty cool gore in it too. Highly recommend it, guys. And if you don't want that atrocious artwork, go with the German one. Tormented. I haven't really heard too many people talk about this. I actually love that cover, and if it looks familiar, it actually does look a lot like a movie from last year, Torment, which I really liked. I think it was up for Best Indie on the Golden Horn Awards with Catherine Isabelle, which was a cool pig mask. Actually, it was more of a like children's doll mask, like there was like a bear and a bunny or something. But anyway, the funny thing was, it wasn't going to be called that. It was going to be called Berkshire County, which maybe the filmmaker realized that there was some other county films lately, particularly which one was it? Madison County, which is a cool slasher from a couple of years ago with a pig mask killer. So they must have saw that and be like, shit, we gotta change the name. So they changed it to Tormented, and I don't know how it got kind of lumped with Torment. I think they purposely somehow did that to kind of make them like an unofficial sequel. Cool thing is, it could kind of work. Obviously, they're not related story-wise, but they're actually kind of cool companion pieces. The artwork's sweet. They look cool next to each other. But anyway, this was awesome. The cool thing is it takes place on Halloween, which is great. Basically, a babysitter alone in a house on Halloween night, and she has to deal with some masked killers, including a child killer, which is awesome. I love this film. Great modern slasher, good atmosphere. The lead chick was really cool. Takes a bit to get going. Acting, like everything, kind of one of those, needs to get its footing. So, if you start it, you're not digging it, give it a shot, see it out. Not a really gory film, but there's a few really cool kills with a little bit of cool gore. I loved it. Great atmosphere, and I just love pig masks and Halloween and I don't know, nice final, cute final girl. I don't know, I loved it. I thought it was really awesome. Another slash. There's been, I didn't even realize this unintentionally, several slashers in a row here, several good ones and great ones. Girl House. Love these guys. They did Jack Brooks' Monster Slayer. They did The Shrine, and here's their latest, Girl House. I was real excited about this one. A slasher that takes place in a girl house. It's actually a house of chicks that like have a video channel where like you pay and you see them and they kind of like talk to you, video chat, and they'll dance for you, blah blah blah. And the killer is an obsessive fan of this girl house channel, and of course he ends up in the girl house. And this is a horrible cover. Actually, I've seen some really cool cover art for this film, of course, and they don't use it, and they use the stupid artwork, and that's not even like, that guy's not even in the film, and there's not a hotel, so that pisses me off. But man, hopefully someone will release it with the proper artwork when it gets a Region 1 release. That's a Region 2 release. Highly recommended, especially if you like their other films. Another slasher. I seriously did not do this on purpose. They just ended up together. Been a great year for slashers. Charlie's Farm. Heard a lot of mixed things about this. I'll say, aside from one shitty CGI kill early in the film, I thought this was a blast. This guy here, what's his name? Nathan Jones. He is massive. He's got to be 7 feet tall, but also probably 300 pounds, muscle. There's a scene with Kane Hodder, who I know is not as big as he used to be, but he just completely dwarfs him. Makes him look really small. So not only does he have the size, but he's great. I mean, his facial expressions. He just looks badass. I could watch him slash people for 4 hours. Seriously, I didn't want the film to end. Again, unfortunately, the kills are kind of mixed with CGI and some practical. There are some really good practical as well, which kind of pisses you off even more because you realize, okay, you have someone doing good effects, just use it across the board. But really cool. Tara Reid, I never thought I'd buy a film with Tara Reid, to be honest with you. I actually find her disgusting. I walked by her at a con last year. She just looked horrible. Like, you know, I mean, skinny blondes aren't my type, but whatever. I mean, a hot chick is a hot chick, but she just looked completely unhealthy, and I actually felt bad for her watching this film. Like, honestly, she just looks very unhealthy, and the thing is, she was actually really good. I actually thought she was really cool in this film. I thought she acted well, and she was likable, and blah, blah, blah. That's that. I recommend Charlie's Farm. Badass slasher. This film was awesome, guys. Eat. Haven't really heard anyone talk about this film. Gives a lot away on the cover, but this lead actress here, the cool thing, it starts off really quirky with like odd music, almost like that band that did that Barbie Girl song, Aqua or whatever. Kind of starts off with a scene like that, and kind of like, what's going on here? But it continues that quirkiness, but then it gets darker and darker. This lead chick, not only is she hot, she's a really good actress, and great practical gore effects. She's basically a struggling actress in her 30s, kind of like going through a midlife crisis, like my show. And she's just struggling, and she begins to kind of deal with that anxiety and stress by like chewing on herself, and things, of course, get progressively worse. Kind of similar to Starry Eyes in that it's about a struggling actor, and she's going on auditions and stuff. Other than that, that's kind of where the similarities end, and it's not nearly as good of a film as Starry Eyes, but it's cool to see, you know, an actor within a film, you know, that struggle and how you deal with it. Really cool ending. Again, awesome practical effects. Highly recommended. A lot of subtext going on here, which is really cool. I just love the chick. Hot, good actress, great gore. This film, guys, I'm going to say it right now, one of my faves of the year, in such a great year that means a lot. Felt, one of my highly anticipated ones this year. Kind of really haven't heard many people talking about this either. Director of Toll Road, Jason Banker. Toll Road, of course, won the Golden Horn Award last year. Not for everybody, that film. This film isn't for everybody either. But I will say it's a little more accessible than Toll Road. So if you didn't like Toll Road, I could see maybe you liking this one. The cool thing is with him, he meets these people and he puts them in films. And this chick here, sorry, I don't know her name. She's an artist in real life in California. And she makes these like weird, abstract, avant-garde, creepy costumes. And for a reason, he casted her into the story. Worked perfectly. The costumes are creepy. She's so eccentric and neurotic, which just adds to it. But she's also likable. And she meets this guy, and they go out for a while. It's about their relationship, really, and things progress. And Oh, it's very surreal. It's shot completely differently than Toll Road, so it's not like the same like raw feel. It's just much more cinematic. Great score, loved it. Atmospheric, great ending. Like I said, quirky, creepy, weird. I absolutely love this film, guys. Again, even if you like Toll Road, definitely get this. If you didn't like Toll Road, you might still enjoy this one. And a couple films I gotta watch tonight actually. Backtrack, Nazi Aggression, a Nazi horror film, indie film. Actually, really dug the trailer. Looks like it's got some good effects. And
This is only a test.
hey guys, sorry I had to interrupt my own freaking show. But that's what happens when you take a 3-month sabbatical from your own show and then you come back and you're very rusty. I completely forgot 2 films in this update, 2 that I really wanted to talk about. I didn't want to leave them out. When I was editing this episode, I realized that I forgot about them because they were in the other room at the time. So anyway, we have to do this little interruption here. These 2 films, this one I was really excited about, Harbinger Down. If you don't know about this film, long story short, if you guys know about the Thing remake that came out several years back, the big story about that was the crew that's worked in the past with Aliens and all that stuff, guys that worked with the great Stan Winston, Tom Woodruff and all that crew. They did some awesome practical effects for that film, and basically what the big studio did, they came in post and went over everything with a lot of shitty CGI, of course. Of course, that pissed them off. I think at one point all that stuff was on YouTube because I remember watching some of it, some of the actual original practical effects, and of course they looked amazing. But in typical Hollywood fashion, they pissed all over the practical with CGI. Anyway, so those guys took their anger and placed it in their own film. They decided to make their own film with practical effects. A very similar story to The Thing takes place in this situation on a boat, and a creature ends up on there, blah, blah, blah. So I was really excited for that. Obviously, you guys know I love practical effects. I hate CGI. So this seemed definitely kind of a middle finger to Hollywood type film. So I, of course, was all over it. Stars Lance Henriksen, which of course is always an enjoyable actor to watch in the genre films. So unfortunately, very disappointed with this. I had heard going in, a lot of people were complaining about the script, and I was kind of like, well, fuck the script. I just want to, I'm not watching this for the story. I want to see, these effects, being shown off here. And unfortunately, even that's a disappointment. There's actually a decent amount of CGI in this, which is kind of ironic and pretty lame. There are a handful of really cool practical effects. I don't know why they just didn't do 100% practical, which I kind of was expecting. The story is, in fact, really bad. The script is bad. The performances are bad. I would say besides Henriksen, I thought he was his typical solid self, but the rest of the characters were just very cookie cutter to annoying to just kind of like, I don't know, it's just the type of film when you're done, you're just kind of left with, blah feeling, and the effects, as good as some of them were, couldn't even overcome all the other shortcomings. And then just seeing some shitty CGI just really ruined anything that was good. And anyway, overall, very disappointed with this film. I'm probably not even going to keep this, which really saddens me because I thought it was going to be a big middle finger to Hollywood, and it didn't really turn out that way. This one though, Lost After Dark. I know many of you out there have probably already seen this or bought it or whatever. Great slipcover, great artwork. You can actually get this super cheap at Walmart. I hate going in there, but every now and then I'll go in there for a horror movie. I think it was $10. Great slipcover, put out by Anchor Bay. Nice to see them put out a nice horror film. If you haven't seen this, guys, I highly recommend this. This was freaking awesome. A lot of times you get these quotes, I've always talked about quotes, retro 80s horror done right, and you thought the 80s were dead. So it's definitely, we've seen it a lot. A throwback to the 80s horror films, particularly the slasher genre, which of course thrived that decade. We've seen many independent films do that, pay homage to the 80s. Been hit or miss. Some have been pretty good. A lot of them have been pretty horrible. There's a quote on the back, the best 80s slasher film that wasn't filmed in the 80s by Dread Central. Usually quotes like that are ridiculous. You laugh at it. I actually completely agree with that. Quickly on the plot, because I want to get to quickly all the things I loved about this film. Plot, standard, group of high schoolers. They're going to a dance, and they decide to skip out on the dance. They they steal the school bus and they're gonna take it out party, and one of the students, her father has like a hunting cabin, so they're gonna spend the weekend there and party. Of course, on their way, they run out of gas. They didn't something the gauge is wrong, and like the bus's gas tank, and of course they run out of gas and they're stranded. They end up in a house. That's your setup. Of course, there's a killer on the loose in the house, and it's a stalk and slash from there on out. Standard story, but let me just tell you guys all the things I love about it. First of all, the cool thing is, with these 80s homage films, a lot of time there's kind of like, you have to constantly be reminded that it's an 80s film. They have to constantly remind you, hey, with product placement or a line or something, and it almost turns into a gimmick. I mean, they definitely make sure, particularly early on in the film, the way they're dressed, they'll throw a word like, that was rad, there's a scene in the bus when they're driving, they're playing on a ghetto blaster radio, they're playing music on a tape that's clearly 80s style, which is cool. But after that, that's it. You're not constantly, being thrown at you, hey guys, you remember this is an 80s film, It just kind of takes on more of a natural feel, where I think a lot of other films have to constantly, remind you, hey, this is 80s, and almost takes control of the film and takes away from the whole point of the film. Much like House of the Devil, which was taking place in the 80s. You had a few 80s references early on, but then after that, it just got into the story. And that's similar to what this did. That's the only relation those two films have, but it did that in that way. It does not constantly feeding you the 80s style on there. But there is like some film dirt, they kind of make it, look grainy at times. I kind of would have wanted to mind if they just did it through the whole film. There's one part in the middle of the film where like a reel is missing, so it cuts away to like the film, which is cool. Kind of gimmicky, yeah, but I didn't mind it at all. But and then the other thing I really loved about this film, besides the score, great synth-driven score, strings, all that, very Friday the 13th like, is the cast. This cast there's an ensemble cast, probably, I don't know, 6, 7 main characters, and I freaking love them all. The dialogue was so well written. Definitely some kind of hokey lines at times, very 80s style, but it was good. It was well written, and you kind of laughed or smiled. But other than that, the dialogue's very well written. These characters, this is probably one of my, I can't think off the top of my head of another ensemble cast in a horror movie that I've liked more than this cast in a long time. I mean, I just can't think of something. Maybe Cold Prey. I like that cast, and that was actually a smaller cast than this. But anyway, very likable characters. There's one guy that's kind of a douchebag, but you even kind of like him because he's like a cool douchebag. But everyone else is actually very likable. I don't get why directors constantly put a group of friends together who act like they hate each other. I just will never understand that. This group actually like tries to help each other out. They act like they like each other. Act like they enjoy spending time with each other. Yeah, they're just so likable. That adds so much to a film. I loved each and every character. The acting was really good. Each character superbly acted. But yeah, I think it's the cast and the writing that really stood out in this, which was great to see. I smiled so often throughout this film. And I got to get to the nitty gritty of stuff that you guys are like, you're yelling at me right now probably. What about, I don't care about the writing. Okay. The killer's cool. I always prefer, ideally, in my opinion, I love masked killers. He's not a masked one, but he looks cool. He looks like he could have been, he would have fit right in Just Before Dawn, or maybe a buddy of Madman Myers and Madman. Big, long hair, beard, got some scars on his face, nasty teeth. So, pretty cool killer. And the kills, I wouldn't call this an overtly gory film, but the kills are all very in that 80s style, very inventive. Each one looks like they took the time. So let's make this a really cool kill. The gore that is in it is very well done. All practical effects. It was an awesome eye gore scene, which I just wanted to stand up and clap after. Great death with a car. I can't think of, anyway, yeah, each death very well done. Yeah, so I mean, everything you want, the score, the acting, the death scenes, the killer. I like the ending a lot. Just awesome film, so much so it's one of those films that immediately afterwards I went online, found their Facebook page. I had to message them just telling them how much I loved it. I hope they keep making horror films. I've done that a lot this year, where after a film I gotta like tell somebody immediately. Horsehead I did that with, Starry Eyes, The Canal, Headless, a bunch of other films. Anyway, highly recommend it. Awesome slasher. Loved it across the board. Let's get back to my show. Alright guys, I'm going to blitz through these. Cool thing about this beer, it comes in a pint, so I was able to refill here. Chars, so good. Alright, again, I'm going to whip through these really quickly. I want to do another segment. A couple of films that these 4 films in particular are, I'm going to the category of films that I honestly never thought would get a proper release, let alone a Blu-ray release. So very excited. Crypt of the Living Dead, actually I've never seen this. Comes also with House of the Living Dead. A couple of 70s films, man. Love that cover art. Put out by, is this Vinegar Syndrome? Yes. So excited to give that double feature a spin. But I remember like seeing clips of Crypt of the Living Dead and pictures, and I always wanted to see it, and it was like there was never an actual release to get, so I was so excited about that one. This one as well, Devil's Wedding Night by Code Red, whose transfers are kind of lame, but I remember like seeing this film a long time ago on a shitty VHS, so I'm excited to see this one. It's been a long time, and again, great cover artwork. This one definitely didn't think would ever get a proper one, let alone a Blu-ray. Der Todskin by Jörg Buchgreit. Awesome. I love this film. I know a lot of people think it's shit, but a lot of people think Necromantic is shit too, and I love it so. But yeah, awesome slip cover. I think there's some postcards inside, but awesome release by Cult Epics. And I'll probably, if Arrow ever puts this out, I'll get that, because I know they're putting out Necromantic 2, which I'll get that. This one, definitely never thought. I mean, I would have been fine with a DVD release, but Angst, awesome 80s, much like that one from Germany and Austria. Nasty, grimy, brutal film, man. I remember buddy of mine, buddy of mine, their older brother had a copy of this, and we watched. He's like, you guys gotta watch this fucked up movie from the 80s, and we watched it, and it was just fucking awesome. And I have like a bootleg of it that I had purchased later on, but when this came out, of course I was gonna grab this, and I can't wait to watch this transfer. Hopefully it's good. It's got an awesome booklet inside with some nice anecdotes about the film and the lead actors and everything, so awesome release. Now some just random shit. Code Red had a sale, and I was able to actually pick up some things that I've been after for reasonable prices. Neon Maniacs, I needed that. I didn't have to spend $50 on it. From Fleabay, as what's his name calls it. Deadwood Park by Eric Stanze. If you've never seen this one, really cool indie director. Been around for a long time actually, and this is actually my favorite film of his. And I didn't have the original release of this film, so this remastered collector's edition came out, and Toe Tag actually put it out, which is awesome. And you get it signed by Eric, and really cool film. And some of it takes place in an old amusement park where there's these old like wooden remains of a roller coaster and a Ferris wheel. Really cool. My favorite film of his. And go on Toe Tag's store and their new web store and pick that up. Support some indie horror. I had to show this real quickly. Amazing release of Cronenberg's Videodrome by Arrow, who are just, they're out of their skull this year, like seriously. Their regular releases that they put out, some great titles, so many more I got to get next month. It's going to be really brutal on the wall, which October always is. But then some of these big sets, I mean, look, anyway, you guys have probably all seen this already if you don't have it. But if you're a fan of this film and you don't have this, amazing. I mean, this thing weighs like 5 pounds, it feels like. Alright, a stack of 70s shit. It's the favorite. It's, to me, in my opinion, which of course means a lot, best decade in horror history is the 70s by far. With all due respect to the 80s, the 60s, the great 30s, which pretty much started it all after the great silent stuff. But 70s, even the 70s films that aren't that great, like even admittedly for me, I still really like them. I honestly can't think of a 70s horror film that I said to myself after watching it, oh, I'm never going to watch that again, or I'm not going to keep that in my collection. I just can't get enough of it. It's such a vast catalog, and I'm always adding to it. So anyway, here's a stack of some 70s shit. Another Code Red I needed. I got this in that sale. Mary, Mary, Bloody Mary. Pretty sure I've never seen this before. I remember always really wanting to. That I can remember anyway. Satan's Wife, got this at FYE of all places, one I haven't seen. Love satanic horror, especially from the 70s. Cool artwork. Probably a shitty transfer since it's from Cheesy Flicks, but excited to watch that. Finally picked up, I love this film, The Witch Who Came from the Sea. And if you guys have never seen this film and you're looking at the artwork is not relevant to the film, unfortunately, because it is badass artwork. But it is an awesome, weird, atmospheric film. There is a witch involved, but there's nothing like this in it, unfortunately. But awesome film. A British Giallo, if that makes any sense. It is kind of an oxymoron, but In the Devil's Garden. Has Susie Kendall in it, who I love from Martino's Torso. Really cool, atmospheric, couple good kills. It really is a British Giallo, and it's done really well. The fact that Susie Kendall's in it kind of gives it an Italian feel anyway. Good score, highly recommended. VCI Entertainment put that out. I don't remember if I've mentioned this film in the past, but I did finally pick it up, I don't know, earlier this year, but I just wanted to mention it again when I was looking through the stuff. This would have been on my underrated Italian list that I did last fall. Quiet Place in the Country. Guys, if you love Italian horror, if you like 70s horror, pick this up. Atmospheric, surreal, definitely in lines of like Repulsion and Perfume of a Lady in Black. Films of that ilk, of an artist, or obviously Repulsion didn't involve an artist, but much like those films, it's just a person slowly losing their mind. In this particular case, it's Franco Nero is always great, is an artist who's slowly losing it, and his girlfriend Vanessa Redgrave, who actually never considered hot, is really hot in this film, and I don't know. I'm sure I mentioned this in the past, but just one of those films I never hear anyone talk about. So guys, if you're into that stuff, go out and get this one. Just fucking buy it. Really cool shots in that film. Finally got A Bell from Hell, great 70s Spanish horror movie. We watched this a couple years back on our horror movie marathon. Awesome, badass film. And a film, again, I don't think it's talked about too often. Happy to finally have it in the collection. What a mess I'm making here. Blood Mania, goddamn snapcase, but anyway, really like this film. Not a well-made film, but it just reeks that 70s atmosphere, and it actually has some couple stylish shots in it that kind of reminds me of Italian horror, which is pretty cool. So happy to have that. Where am I? The Devil Within Her. Actually just watched this recently. Awesome cast. I never thought I'd dig a Joan Collins film. I mean, I don't know if I've ever even seen one, but she's actually, back in the day, she was pretty cute. And good performance, and you got Donald Pleasance, always great seeing him, of course, in a horror movie. The hot Carolyn Monroe. Basically a devil baby movie. Yes, it's cheesy, but I love that it's played straight. And I actually really love this film. Pretty awesome. Another great film I don't hear get mentioned, A Reflection of Fear. Finally own this. Got this several months back, but great doll scene. I love dolls and horror, and there's a great scene in here. This chick just goes nuts, and it's really well done. Again, atmospheric, but creepy at times, weird, and this lead chick's performance is just off the wall. Crescendo, Stephanie Powers and James Olsen. Again, I think this is a really cool film. Just reeks that 70s feel, and I just absolutely love it. I can't get enough of it. Happy to have this in the collection. Stephanie Powers is pretty cute, and again, there's a couple of really stylish scenes in this film. This particular shot right there as well, involving an eyeball. Lastly, guys, I actually did it. Fright. Again, love this film. It's got Susan George, who of course was in a few Pete Walker films. Love her. She's very cute. Really good, you know, slasher thriller. Really done well. Again, pretty stylish at times. Creepy. Fantastic film. Happy to have this Anchor Bay release of this. Great British horror film from the 70s. So always adding to the 70s stuff, guys. I got other stuff I could show, but I don't know what I had and what I haven't, and it's been so long. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for sticking around. If you are still watching, Horseball is sticking around as well. You know, I'll do it when I can. If I can throw some cool skits in there here and there, hopefully I can, because you know, I'm sure you guys enjoy watching me make a fool of myself at times. Golden Horn Awards, guys, is also coming up in just a few months. I'm really excited about that. And next month I'll talk a little bit more about what this year has meant to me in horror, and I actually think it fits somewhere up there along some of the best years ever. And I'll expand on that later. But anyway, guys, hope you saw some titles that you haven't picked up yet. Thanks so much for sticking around. In the next episode, I will show you guys kind of the thing that happened that was really cool that kind of made me say, fuck it, let's keep Horseball going. And Charles, everybody, hope you all are doing well. We're in the midst of fall here. Hopefully the weather gets a little cooler now. It's been hot as fuck lately, but stay scared, everybody. We'll see you next time. We'll see you very soon, not 3 months from now. Showers, guys. Later. I'm out.